If fruit snacks and jelly candies had a homemade baby, this would be it. Pâte de fruits, or fruit slab as we call it around here, are a fun, freezer-friendly way to hold on to some of summer's flavors. They're soft, sweet, and just fancy enough to feel special. Hi friend, come on in. Pâte de fruits, literally meaning fruit paste, is a fun thing to make. It is like making jam but on overdrive. They are firm but soft, dusted in sugar for a sweet burst, and save very well in the freezer. This French treat has been around for centuries as a traditional way to preserve fruit. These jewel-like confections were once a high-end treat in French patisseries. So let's make these treats at home. Start with 1 pound of fruit. I'm using strawberries, but just about any soft fruit will work. Raspberries, peaches, plums. If you're using something firmer like apples or pears, turn them into sauce first. And if your blender tends to leave behind sneaky chunks, run it through a strainer. Pour the puree into a large pot, larger than you think you need. Sugar has a way of bubbling up like lava, and splattering molten fruit is not fun. To the puree, add half a cup of sugar and 1 tablespoon of lemon juice. I'm using a deep fryer thermometer here because the probe is long enough for my tall pot. Just make sure the tip isn't touching the bottom or sides. That'll throw off the temperature reading. I set my thermometer up before I added the puree to make sure I am in the correct position. I highly recommend a thermometer to take the guesswork out of it. While this isn't impossible to make, it is technical and the right temperatures do need to be hit for a proper set. This is like candy making but with a lower bar of entry. Bring the puree up to 140 Fahrenheit or 60 Celsius over medium to medium-high heat. Think 6 out of 10 on the dial. You want it hot, but not scorching, so you might need to adjust based on your stove. It's a slow process, but a necessary one. While that's coming up to temp, prepare your pan. I'm using an 8x8 glass dish sprayed with a little oil, then lined with parchment. Pro tip: scrunch up the parchment first so it lays within the pan more easily. Give it another quick spray just to be safe. Once the candy's done, you've got to move fast, so this needs to be ready ahead of time. At 140 Fahrenheit or 60 Celsius, add your remaining 1.5 cups of sugar and a pouch of liquid pectin. While I have seen recipes that use powdered pectin, I've not personally tried it. If you're using powdered pectin instead, mix it into the sugar first to avoid clumps. Once they form, they're nearly impossible to work out. Bring the mixture to a low boil and let it climb to 200 Fahrenheit or 94 Celsius. Stir often and keep it moving. This stage should take about 10 minutes. Once there, hold that temperature for about 3 minutes. Now comes the patience test, getting to 200 Fahrenheit or 105 Celsius. This can take 20 minutes or more depending on your stove and moisture content. At this point, most of the water is evaporating, leaving behind a thick, sticky paste that really wants to burn. Keep the heat steady, don't crank it up, and stir constantly. It might stall at 213 Fahrenheit or 100 Celsius for what feels like forever, but it will get there. If you like a firmer candy, you could take it to 225 Fahrenheit or 107 Celsius, but watch it like a hawk. There's no room for distractions. As this cooks, the puree goes through several stages, and that change is one of the best visual indicators that you're on the right track. In this first stage, the mixture is still fairly fluid, just slightly thicker than the raw puree. You'll start to see the color deepen a little, but it still stirs easily. If you drag a spoon through it, the trail fills in almost immediately. As more water evaporates, the puree thickens noticeably. The spoon leaves a trail that lingers before slowly filling back in. You'll also see more vigorous bubbling, and the color darkens to a richer hue. This is when you need to stay alert. If you smell a hint of something burnt, chances are you've got a hot spot, either the heat is too high, or the pan isn't getting stirred thoroughly. Try rotating the pan slightly as you stir, and make sure your spoon is scraping the full bottom surface to avoid scorching. Finally, once most of the water has cooked off, you'll notice the spoon leaves a clear line that stays for a few seconds. This is your signal that you're just about there. Keep stirring at this point, don't walk away. If the mixture burns now, it can add bitter notes that some people will definitely notice. That said, a little caramelization isn't the end of the world. Let it set up and give it a taste. You might find it still turned out just fine. Once you hit your desired temperature, pour it straight into your prepared pan and smooth it out. It starts setting up fast, so don't wait around. Let it cool completely at room temperature before slicing. Cut into 1-inch squares and roll them in sugar. It will take about 2 tablespoons of sugar to coat an entire batch. You can coat as you go or do the whole batch and store them in a container. Fridge or freezer works. If you refrigerate them, you might need to redust them in sugar before serving. I've made strawberry and apricot versions, and both are great. If you try another flavor, let me know. I'd love to hear what you came up with. Looking for another way to save some of summer's bounty? Check out these fruit leathers. Want something simple and freezer-friendly? Try my lemonade pie. And if you enjoy pantry-friendly cooking that helps stretch the grocery budget, consider subscribing. I've got more coming your way. Thanks for hanging out with me today.